Welcome to the Four Corners series for Workers and Resources Soviet Republic. We're picking up on the 13th of July 1912. Before we get into the gameplay as usual, a big thank you for your comments and feedback. You guys give me so much to think about. Now, I did get a comment about why I'm producing alcohol in New Hope and not in the New Village. The reason for that is the fact that the way I regard alcohol in this game is a way to make money by exports. I don't generally use it within my local economy, except when I've got tourism, which is because alcohol is a requirement. Because I find that alcohol doesn't benefit the economy whatsoever, because what you actually get is that alcohol does not improve happiness, but what you've got here is alcohol addiction. And what happens is if your alcohol addiction gets too high, that actually reduces health. So this is something that you do need to remember. Now, this could change when the next big update comes out with policing and law and order, but at the moment, that's my general policy on alcohol. The comment also asked about why I'm producing clothes in New Hope as well, because it's obviously because I can import it from here. This is part of a more overall strategy for this series, in the sense that what I would like to do is make each individual village self-sufficient in the three basics. That's food, meat and clothes, because these are the three commodities every town must have in good supply. If any of these drop down, well, you can get away without meat, but food and clothes, if these drop down, you'll find the happiness drops incredibly quickly, and then you get all sorts of escapees. So, and because of the fact that we've got slow moving wagons and the distances are going to be quite large, the strategy going forward is to make each village self-sufficient in crops, meat and clothes. And I know some of you say, well, that doesn't really fit with the game, because you should be... The way I'm treating this series is that in 1910, remote communities were pretty self-sufficient. What will happen is when we get to about 1927-28, when I think it's when Stalin comes to power, the communists start to impose the 5-year plans, which is the collectivization of farming and other industries, and that's when the economy is going to start to transform in the direction to what you would normally regard as the vanilla mechanics of the games. Villages are going to combine together to form cities, which will then start to specialize, produce steel and other big products. And of course, hopefully by then we're also going to be getting a possibility of some rail up and running, because rail is going to be very much the big influence on how well we can expand and ship large quantities of goods. So that's something that we do need. I'm just going to unpause now because I just want to look at something. I've just remembered. I want to watch this guy while I'm talking. Now, one thing I do want to, it's a kind of an appeal and an apology in the same thing, is that I keep getting requests for some of the mods that I'm actually using. Let's just speed this up a bit. I want to see if this guy, he's run out of fuel, and I've got a feeling that he's not going to stay here. He's just going to push off back to, yep, he's going to go back to get there. So we really need to get this feeding station done. Yeah, I've had a couple of comments about some of the mods I'm using. I think it's the fabric factory. There's one for mechanical components in my Seven Crosses series. I think also the clothing factory here. Now, I'll be completely honest, I'm completely mystified where I've got these mods from, because I've been trolling through the workshop and I just can't find them. And one thing I have noticed, if I come into here, and it's not this one. I come into, well, we'll just choose factories because this seems to be the one that's most prevalent. You see, I've got this kind of tag on all these mods here, which says 10S. I've got a mod called 1910S, which is actually designated as no name. And I think what's happened is someone's put a mod up and then deleted it. But I do wonder whether this is actually a collection, because if I show you this microbrewery, now that is part of Novu's small farm buildings, I think it is. So I'm a bit confused about that. I'm still looking, and if I ever do find the mod, I will put it into the collection. But what I will say, if anyone else is using this mod for, not that clothing, for fabric factory, this is the mod that actually uses crops to produce fabrics. If you're using that mod and you know where it comes from, I'd much appreciate it if you will put a link in the comments so I can find it, and then I can add it to the collection. That's the other thing. Now, somebody also pointed out that at this period, Russia's GDP growth rate was 14%. And that is quite interesting, because if you actually look at the growth across the whole of Europe in the early 1900s, all the major countries there had these very high growth rates. If you think about it and look at in the context of China today, China has got this massive growth rate because it's industrializing, and that's exactly what was happening to Europe in the early 1900s. True, the Industrial Revolution was already in full swing, but what happened in the 1900s was this move towards industrialization of cities and more centralization of production. But of course, in rural areas, life carried on as normal. So, and because we are in a rural area, that's exactly what's going to happen. That slightly long waffle out the way, and what we can do now is actually get down to some gameplay. I'm just going to give you a bit of an update of where we are. We are on the 22nd of July, so in theory our builds should start coming to action fairly soon. And one thing I got a little bit of a cause for concern for is this area here. In fact, these guys have just gone off. Where are you going? Do you pick up from fields? No? Okay, where are you going? Is that because I think that's down to the fact that these guys have started to deliver the crops here. Now I've got a problem up here that we need to get this finished just in case we get a crop overflow. Now, one change I have added to the village itself is the fact that I've now got this building here. This is from the, I think it's packed wooden buildings, which I used in the beginning of my Seven Crosses series. This is actually a university, because I was looking at the options because the university up here is a little bit overloaded. Then I suddenly realized if I come in here, this is the one I'm using. I suddenly realized that this university up here does not have research, and you can see it's a bit overloaded. So what I'm going to do is we're going to build this to take over the role from this university here, but we're not going to knock it down because hopefully the village will grow big enough. But I want to do some research, so what I'm thinking is to get this done here. So what I'm going to do is we're just going to add sign to construction office. I want to add that there. Also, I want to build that there as well, because I need to get this university finished. And plus, if I show you here, our population is growing up a little bit there. Now, one thing I do want to do before the population gets too big, I'm just going to pause. I'm going to reallocate you out there, and then we're going to knock you down. I was looking at this just before I started the video, and what I'm just going to do is take that out. The reason I'll knock this down is if I show you here that this kindergarten is eventually going to fill up. So what I want to do here is put in, I want the really small, exactly the same as what we got on the other side there. And what I'm going to do is just drop this in there. We're not going to build it straight away. What I want to do is just get this ready to go. Now the main focus of this part is going to be out here, because we've got some construction to do out here. We really need to get this built as well, so we're going to assign that and that there. And of course also what we're going to do, I know these guys don't have anything in them at the moment, but we need to sort this construction office out. And what I'm going to do here is just assign everything here as we add vehicles. So we're going to need to, oops, no, I want to assign that, please. Assign asphalts. Wow, come. And concrete, steel, bricks, and boards there. We're not going to worry about mechanical components. That can wait. And of course, we're not going to put workers on this just at the moment. Now, the next project I want to do is here, because we got quite a lot of resources, and what I would like is, how many slots have we got over here? We got 4 slots. I think I'm going to start here. I'm going to produce two dumpers and 2 open holes. So we're going to produce 2 dumpers and 2 open holes here, which we're going to send up to here. because we do need to get this built up quite quickly. We need the food, the feeding station here and the windmill. We're going to be able to farm in here. I also want to take a look at putting in the center of our village here as well. What we got here? Electricity problems. Yeah, I think I'm getting a bit of fluctuation from here, so I'm going to increase the workforce here. Oh, and yeah, okay, not that. Wait, not that. Now the other thing is, I've been looking at this thing, and to be honest, I don't like it. I don't think it really fits what we're doing at the moment, so I'm just going to get rid of you. But I've got an idea for something else there. Now, and what I'm actually going to do is we're going to stick with these small construction offices at the moment, because one, they're quick and cheap to build, and two, I think I can specialize these a little bit quicker than the big ones. So what we're going to do is put another construction office right alongside this one. So effectively what we could end up with is a row of 3 construction offices here. This guy can get into here and do this. This is the reason why I wanted to allocate these. Now, so we got that there. What I want here is, I'm a bit worried about the fire coverage. To show you here, we've got the one fire truck. Now, theoretically, we've got fire coverage all the way out to here, but I did have a fire when I was playing off camera here. And considering the distances from there to there, it was a very close run thing. We nearly lost all the crops actually in this building here. So that is a potential problem. So what I'm thinking is to put a bigger fire station here. So we're going to go for a fire station here. What I'm looking for is something that's got more than one fire engine in it. But at the same time, I don't want something that looks too modern. This is one of the dilemmas I'm kind of going from. This has got 3 fire stations in, and it can be a bit difficult to actually see. Let me zoom in a bit. Will that look in context? Yeah, I think that will look a little bit in context with the environment. So it's good. Needs 20 tons of bricks. Is there anything a bit smaller? When we got this one here, but that's even bigger, isn't it? 20 ton. This one here, this is 19 tons of bricks. It's got spots for 3 engines. In fact, that actually probably looks a little bit better, doesn't it? So just drop you in there. What we'll do is, if I can get this across the back to there as well, so that can connect up to there. I'm probably going to need to allocate the main construction here, because they might probably need a workforce to get that done. The other thing I need to do is gravel in these roads. I'm going to put a road there and a road there. Try and make it square so we get a good junction. And then I want to bring a footpath down to here so that the workers can get to here. So that leaves us a little bit of space here. Because I've got a feeling that eventually we may need to get some more culture in here. I'm kind of a bit overloaded with food. Why have we got a bit of a food shortage? Oh, we haven't. I think we're going to push you up to 8. I mean, the population is growing, but we're not out of the woods by a long way yet. So we've got to kind of keep an eye on our population as it goes forward. Now I want to put a farm in here. Now we've got some potential gravel production up there, but we've also got possible gravel production down here as well, which could be even better than what I've got here up higher up. Let me just take a look at this. And there's a 59% for a gravel quarry there, and we got 38% there. I've got a feeling that we might as well have the quarry down there and just leave this little lake alone. Again, I've been thinking about farming, because I know I was going to be planning this farm here. I've actually made a conscious decision, which I want to make clear, is that I'm not going to use the big fields until we get to collectivization, because I feel that villages at this time would have had probably medium fields rather than large fields. And I think this is something I do need to emphasize, that this series isn't about min-maxing. It's about kind of trying to stay within the limits of available limits of the time. So what I want to do is just slide a little field in there. Oh yeah, a bit of an aside. When I was choosing this university here, and I was just to show you, we've got the Lenin Technical University. If anyone follows my channel, you'll be aware that I really like this. But of course, in 1912, Lenin wasn't even in Russia. I think he was in Paris a lot of the time, Paris and London, trying to create a communist revolution in those countries, in France and the UK, and spread the word of socialism. I don't think he actually comes to Russia until about 1913, 1914, as a consequence of the First World War. So that's just a side that occurred to me while I was looking at this. I got absolutely no idea why it suddenly occurred to me, but and what I'm going to do is just hook that there. Where I'm going to put get another medium field on this side. What I'm looking to do is have about 8 fields, and I think I'd like to have, say, 1, 2 there. So what we're looking at is possibly having the farm here, because we're going to have a lot more space on this side. We're going to stick with the tiny farmstead. Stop production. That is really starting to irritate me. But I'll be talking a little bit about the options for that going forward. I think we're going to put the farm just here because it needs to be kind of connected. Now, storage is going to be a bit of a challenge, but I think I've found something that stays within context. Is this storage silo here? It can hold 300 tons of crops, and where it may not be contemporary with rural Russia, I think it is fairly contemporary with America of the 1910, 1912, because it's like a cylindrical silo. So dropping that in there, and of course our entrepreneur down here decided to get himself into the transport business, has now come up with cargo stations. We're just going to pop you into there so that you can keep it going. So what we're going to do here is we're actually going to put in a cargo station here. I think I'm going to stick with something like that, just along here, like that. In fact, we're kind of chaining the resources here. I think I'm going to take that field out actually, because I'm going to need distribution offices here as well. And what I would like to do is put in 2 distribution offices here, like that, and another one alongside it. It'd be great if I could do that so we don't get too many junctions here. The other thing I'm also going to put in is a horse feeder. We got this one being built, so we got 2 distribution offices there. We got a possible option for another storage, possibly. We just kind of, oops, too far. And I can never find these. This one here. We got a possible option for that there. Although technically I don't want that. Remove that link there. So what I'm thinking here is we're going to find the gas station, and we're going to put another horse feeder just in here. We'll put it out far enough, but actually we could put it there, couldn't we? Right opposite the distribution office. That'd be good. And of course this is going to need power, so what we're going to have to do is put a wind turbine right alongside it. This will ensure that the farm will get production and power. And I'm just going to take that out, and then I'm going to put the oops, don't want that back. Oops, why am I keep clicking that? What I'm going to do is put the medium farm field literally almost like it's overlapping. So maybe we'll just put that medium field there. It says this comes to here, doesn't it? So oh yeah, maybe it doesn't overlap. Maybe I'm being too critical. What I'd like is we'll square this up a little bit. We'll put 2 fields in there like that. I want to come across like that. I think we don't want a through road here, do we? I'm going to put a field there. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I think that will work. I'm just going to pick up, put a mud road across there. And you right through. I'm going to go past just in case we want to go out that way. Just trim this back. Put you about there. You to about there. You connect up there and there. And we can take that road out that way should we need it. So this is going to be the farm that's going to supply the food to our village down here. And what I'm actually liking is possibly a road through here. And we can bring the road down to about there. That gives me a little bit of a grid here. One thing I am looking at with this windmill here is the power plant? No, it'd be power transformers. What I'd like to do is put this in, because I think what I want to do is actually put a power grid in this village to kind of represent the evolution of the power supply. See, this village is all separate wind turbines and the water mill here. What I'd like to do here is actually have a cluster of wind turbines here that will actually supply the village here, and we'll use the low level medium supply here. And if we do get down to the coast here, we could possibly bring in a water turbine. The other option is that I think if we come in here and look at power plants, there are a couple of power plants here which we could use for generating power, but I don't really want to jump to these too quickly. We got a wind turbine here, V2. I don't know what's this. This produces 5. This produces 5. This is boards. I actually, looking at this, I do wonder what this could be. You can see this is a duplicate. This is a 1900s windmill. So I am absolutely certain this is some form of collection. But what we do have here is a small power plant like this, but I don't think it's actually got connections. So that's something I do want to look at going forward. We're going to come back and kind of redesign our village centre there. But I just want to have a quick run through and see how things are going here. I've actually finished this, yes. And I've been talking too much. And we need to get you onto there. Unload. Drops 90%. Because I'm not sure. These are filling up. So these guys need an alternative. And I think these guys need to kind of we'll put you in as a pickup point here as well. You can pick up crops there. Let's just have a look at this guy here. Now we're doing a 2-horse open wagon at the moment, and this is a dumper. This is I think what we're going to do is send second dumper out to here, and we'll actually send an open hole there. Now, one thing I do want to do here is to do a test. Now, we know that I want to get this farm up and finished. In fact, let's just assign everybody to this. I want the farm built as quickly as possible. I'm wondering whether I need another construction office over here. I want to make sure yeah, I think this guy's got a bit of a problem. I think we'll just assign you that there, because I think this needs a workforce to give it a little bit of an assist. What was I doing? Oh yeah, sorry about this. I'm gonna queue up some draft horses, and what I'm gonna do is make about 3 draft horses and 1, 2, 3 combines. Now I'm queuing all these up because what I'm interested in is to see how many vehicles this building can hold before it stops producing. but I didn't want to waste the resources. So that's the reason why I've done it that way. Over here, this is getting pretty close actually. This is good. I like that. And we've got these guys working here. Let me just go back again. Sorry. These guys are building here. I think at the moment we've probably got too much going on. Although these guys, looks like these guys have just kind of finished the groundworks for here. I think we're going to rename you to New Hope University. So we'll just put you in there so that I actually know that that is the university. Apologies, my knowledge of Cyrillic is pretty bad. I actually did start to learn Russian when I was at school, but I never actually followed through with it. As soon as I moved on to college, I stopped learning it, which is probably not as good as it should be, but that's the way it is. Right, so what I want to do here is build up a kind of village centre here. So first thing we're going to need is a shop. Now I did consider making this into a Tudor village, but I think what I'd rather have is a more kind of traditional type village that may fit with the overall look. So what I would like is I think somebody said that a good building. So we've got this Tudor market here, which is, to me, looks very small. Yeah, I don't think I really want to fit that in there at the moment. But what I want to do is put in this. And what I'd like to do is, we've got 2 factory connections. And I think what I might do is put it this way round. And this is where it says, yeah, you need a construction office. Thank you, game. That's because all these guys are out of the office. Okay, so that's kind of scuppered that idea for the moment. What I will do is we're going to put the shop in this corner, and what we're also going to do is conform with the strategy that I outlined at the beginning. We're going to have a food factory behind it because that will be in direct contact with here, and possibly eventually we will have a timber capability here, because things like boards and gravel we're going to produce locally as well. That's going to be part of the expansion strategy. But I think what I can do on this side of the road is we need to put in a hospital, and what I want is the doctor's office. We're going to use the doctor's office. Actually, yeah, let's put the doctor's office right on the corner here like that. I want it back a little bit because I don't want it kind of crammed in. Put the doctor's office here. Now what I would like is a kind of a line of buildings here. So we've got an old school block. What I'd like to do is get the school alongside it. I wish there was always a way that you could turn off these tabs. It's really irritating. So we're going to put a school block there. I think that should match up there. I mean, it kind of fits. So we got the doctor, we got the school. We're going to need a bit of culture, and I actually want to bring in the opera house here. But that fit in really close against the school. Okay, I'm just going to zoom in as close as possible to. And what I'd like is for this to kind of be really close. So yeah, there's going to be a slight gap between them, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do much about that. We got the doctor, the school, the old opera house, and then what I wouldn't mind is the kindergarten. For some reason the kindergarten doesn't want to play. No pun intended. So maybe, is there anything else we're going to need? We've got the doctor, the school. We're not going to actually. Can I say I put a residential block in the center? The only trouble is I think with these residential blocks, I think that they're not actually have a heat capability in them. People's Tower. Wow. Let's just see. We've got Tudor side homes here. Let me just see. I'm looking for the residential workers modern house. What's that look like? That's a wooden house. Workers wooden house 3. I don't think I really want that in. We got an old house here. Wow, that's way too big. These are. I don't think these really fit. We got the Ampere buildings, but actually, can we say for argument's sake, we got brick flats? Let me just try something. I'm going to come back to here. Residential buildings. Let's see what we got here. We got 1930s apartment. That's too early. We put a Jade 5-story building in. Okay, let me just. Yeah, I've got an idea. That will give the continuity. So let me just put this in here. We could put a Jade apartment. No, that's a bit too close actually. So what we can do is just to create a kind of visual effect here. If I can get this done properly. You are really annoying me, game. And we're just gonna stick this up a little bit like that. And say for argument's sake, I put another one right alongside it. Because these, I think you can actually. We'll get a couple of like Jade apartment blocks like that. Yeah, and I mean it's kind of, yeah, horrible, horrible, horrible. So just have to take this out and do it again. But, we will get there, I promise. I'm going to put the Jade 5-story buildings in. If we can get the line. I think that's a bit better, isn't it? And we'll just right up on that corner there. And we'll put 2 side by side like that. And then, so we got effectively a bit of an early accommodation here with the shop opposite. And because the kindergarten doesn't really fit in with the overall thing, we can put the kindergarten on this corner. I mean, say something like that. Actually, as the excavators are still busy. Actually, I think what we can do is put the kindergarten here. Just put in here. We have a pathway going up alongside the kindergarten, connecting all the houses behind, so we can put the kindergarten there, and then we're and that say around like that, and then we run a footpath through to there and probably come down like that. I mean, that's going to create a little short length there, but what I'll probably do is I'll just zap that out for the moment. And just put this in here like that. We'll build that, and then we can do that short connection through to there. So that kind of creates a little bit area there. Once we get back the bulldozer, we go, okay, this guy's, we need to add you to here because we need you to. We certainly need this up and running. And I think we'll set you to 50% for the moment, just in case there's fires. Of course, the one thing we're going to need to do is we're going to have to purchase the 1 ton of fuel to activate that. But this won't work yet until this is built. What are you guys actually working on? Why have you all got excavators? Where are you? Okay, we got excavators in here. Wow, we got 2 excavators working in here. We got all the boys on this. Yes, we have. So I can't really plan the shopping centre here until we've built the farm here. So we might as well come back here and see what's going on over here. How are we doing? Wow. What are you building here? Wow, this guy's really powering through the combines. He's on his last one. Is there anything else I need at the moment? We could make some open holes as well. Okay, we're going to queue up some open holes because we're going to need those eventually as well. We'll make about 4, you'd say 6. That's got to fill this up. Because we got, it's a bit difficult to see them, isn't it? So like we got 2 combines and we seem to have like the 3 draft horses are in there. Okay. How are we doing over here? Because we're still kind of on the 19th of October. We've got crops. Ugh, that's not good. Got a feeling that we're going to need another distribution office here. I mean, what's the storage like? We got 97 tons in there, 97 tons in there. We've got 144 in here. I think I'm just going to let this fill up because I wonder whether that might actually, because that actually, if they're kind of put open as open store, but as long as I don't put things in here, let's just turn this off and see if we can get more in there. That might work. One thing I do want to check, oops, thank you game, is the close situation here, because I did have a bit of a problem where I'd forgotten to allocate the covered hole back to here to apply the close, but it's a bit low, isn't it? What I'm going to do is, the Hope Food Store. We're going to put clothes on there and put that on there, but we don't have to adjust this store now. So we're going to have to kind of put 4.5 tons of clothes in there. It's going to reduce the amount of crops stored in here, but I think that'd be okay. If I push this up, I think we can afford to only have 60 tons of crops in here because we've got the other storage now. I'm just a little bit concerned that that is flying a little bit low. I'm pretty sure that I did have a covered hole truck here running backwards and forwards. Let me just double check, because if there isn't one, life is going to be a little bit difficult. Where are you? Oh, I didn't kick him off. Houston, we have a problem. It won't be long. I mean, we're down to 0.16 in close. Oh, this is the type of mistake that can really catch you out in this game. It's pretty basic, but it's the type that will completely tear you up, because what could happen now is we could get a bit of a population crash, because I'm glad I spotted that actually. In fact, it might even be a bit too late, but hopefully some of these guys might actually return to wherever they're going and do something. We certainly do need to get this thing done. We're finally catching up with the roads here. You guys returned. Right, we got the cranes back, so hopefully now I can do a little bit of work with the shops here. Although I'm aware time is pushing on. Corner Market V2. I'll put you about there, because that would be opposite that footpath there. We're going to put you in about there. Maybe back a little bit like that. I'm aware that we've got a lot of footpaths along this road here, so I don't really want to bring a road in there unless we have to. So now, as I said, what I want to do is reproduce this over here with the, and we're gonna stick with the tradition of using the bakehouse, although maybe we need something that might be a little bit bigger. But if we do that, we're gonna have to, let me just see what the options are. We've got the, we go back to page 1. There is a small food factory here, but it's so big and I don't think it really fits. What's this? This holds 12 tons. This is the rural, what's the about? No, storage, sorry, wrong one. We've got a rural bakery here. A small rural bakery, that might work. I think this is the one that Novu used on his start. But maybe here we'll use a rural bakery, but what we do need is some storage. So, I mean, you can hold 144 tons of crops. Which way round is that? I'm kind of, what I'm thinking is we're going to put a cargo station in here. So let me just put we put a cargo station in here. We'll give it a direct connection to the store, because that would be useful for like delivering clothes. And then what we can do is come here, storage, where we'll use this. This is left, this is right. So what is, that's right there, isn't it? That's kind of going to be the wouldn't mind doing that, but yeah, because this is going to be the store. We're going to deliver to the cargo session. The problem's going to be is the road connection. So, but if I could kind of tilt this round a little bit. So say for argument's sake we put it there. Why is this not? Why is this say crossing not allowed? I think what we're going to have to do is kind of come out a bit like that. It says infrastructure, so almost like it's too tight in on the infrastructure here. Let me just see if I can bring you out like that. It now says, yeah, that's probably going into there. And we're not going to get a connection here, are we? This is the right one. So what we're going to have to do is go the other way. So if I come in here, storage left. So say for argument's sake I put this here. But we're going to need to, I think I can get away with this if I put it that way round, because we got that there. So we got the cargo shed delivering to here, and then what I'm going to put in is the food factory. I'm going to find the smokehouse. Let's just make sure which way the road can come out of here. Yeah, we got a road that can come out like this now, around to like say something like that there, and then we can put the smokehouse just about here. Yeah, if we put the smokehouse about there. Oops, no. Actually, if I push it back a little bit, say like that, I've just had an idea. We put it there, and what I wouldn't mind is a kind of a storage, open store type effect, but I don't think I've really got anything in the way of open stores. Grain storage, although we could put a grain. What I'm thinking is crops from there into there, and food back into there. But of course we need somewhere to store wood. I mean, the ultimate is this. We could put that in there, but this won't allow us to use that. But then the smokehouse doesn't use that much wood. So say, for example, I put that there. Yeah, I mean, it's going to make the... Oh, it's not going to connect, is it? I can guarantee you. It's a connection to steep or something like that. Okay, what happened there? Demolish you. Okay, back to here. We'll have to put that in like that. And then we'll run the road down to... It's going to be a bit messy, but we'll run the road down to there. So what we can do is bring in the crop, deliver there, we can deliver the wood to there. Then eventually out here, I think we'll put a woodcutter, and then we could bring a road in here so that the woodcutter doesn't actually come in on the road. Right, how are we doing over here? Well, we've actually got power here, but of course this isn't going to draw much power at the moment because of the crop situation there. Over here, let me just take a quick look. Now over here, we've finished the university. I'm going to drop the workforce down a little bit. And what we're going to do is shut down this one so that we get everyone coming into here. How's the kindergarten's doing? Great. We're building that up. And yeah, I think we're starting to get out some over 21s now, so we really need this built. We've got this area here. We got that little 5-story apartment there. The crops are flowing. Let's just check the clothes situation. We've got 1.84 tons of clothes in there. We got the clothes now, so I need to find that clothes truck. Okay, let me just increase this up. This guy. Just keep increasing this to he pulls pause. We're just going to reduce this down again. Right down to about 1.4 tons now, because we're now delivering it into here. Probably spent a lot of money on clothes, what we call it, clothes. With a lot more money than I actually need, so shove you back to there. Yeah, we need to start making some profit. In fact, probably come in here, probably import. Yeah, 12,000 on clothes, 20,000 on clothes. So we really need to start getting this kind of supply chain up and running, get the brewery going. I think what I'm going to do now is we're going into winter, so I think we'll start with that. If we can get that going. How's the farm going? Farm's coming along quite nicely. How much do I need for this silo? We need 12 tons of steel for that. And we're going to need to get this built up here quite quickly. Wow, this guy's still pumping out the trucks. Got absolutely no idea how many of these we're going to need. But what we may have to do is move some of these out. In fact, I think I will. Let me just see if we move you to there. Will that rearrange the? Oh, we've got some draft horses. So yeah. So if it looks like it doesn't rearrange, so we can just kind of work on that. I'd like to get this finished, but we need boards in here. But overall, we got things going. I wouldn't mind the fire station built as well. Although, to be honest, at the moment, if we lose these buildings to fire, it's not the end of the world. Just a real pain in the neck. Actually, did I build the... Let me just see. We need to build this, get a second construction office out here, but I think what we need to do first is get the farm running. One thing I do want to check is what somebody said was that these vehicles don't lose speed. I mean, yeah, it's true actually. It's 10 kilometers an hour, and that guy's, although he's just dropped to 3. Well, was that because of their thingy? What I really would like is a kind of ordinary truck going along this section of gravel road here, because somebody did post a comment saying that the vehicles didn't lose speed on gravel roads. I think this guy's got... You're actually down to... You're building the rural stores thingy. Right, we've now got this built here. Right, let's just do a quick check of the over 21s. With this in this position, anyone living here can walk to it. We don't have a problem with like getting a cluster up here. So we've now got this here. And we've got 4 people moved in. We've got no escapees at the moment, which is good. Our population is 823 with 451 workers. It looks like the university's having its effect, so we're getting an educated workforce, which is good. I'm a bit worried about having these vehicles all sat around doing nothing. And there's part of me that says come out here and gravel the roads, but if I'm going to do that, I think I'd rather kind of gravel locally, to be honest. Actually, I think what we can do, just let this guy get past, see where he's going. It's gone that way. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to gravel in here. Okay, we've got a truck here. Yeah, it's quite correct. Look, see, it's maximum speed 18 kilometers an hour. It's dropped 16, 17. So yeah, the wagons do maintain their speed in winter, so that is quite good. I want when you've got a gravel road, but they run slower Actually, they're not that bad even on mud roads. Although he's just speeded up a little bit there. It's dropped to 12 on the mud road. So there is a speed reduction when they're actually on the mud road, but they maintain their speed on the gravel road. So there is actually an advantage of graveling the roads, even when you've got wagons. So that's going to be quite useful. And this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Hope you found it interesting. In the next part, we're just going to carry on building up this village. And of course, more importantly, we're going to start to work on getting this area done, because we're going to need to sort out some wood cutting, a heating plant, probably start putting together a proper power grid, because at the moment there's no power down here. So that's all for the next part. So until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.